If you are from another country and you're tempted to lecture the Philippines about provoking China or hyping the situation, I urge you to take a moment and think about what you're saying to someone whose shoes you are not in. It is no longer.
This is Raymond Powell, a former colonel of the U.S. Air Force. He's the director of Project Myoushu and Sea Light, two maritime security projects at an American think tank affiliated with Stanford University. He's well known for his aggressive comments against China when it comes to territorial disputes in the South China Sea. His supporters call him a maritime security expert, while critics call him warmonger, egging the Philippine Coast Guard to challenge China in the disputed waters. Then who's right? And why is an American think tank member so focused on South China Sea? Digging into Powell's more than 9,000 comments on X as well as various published articles, a pattern emerged. Once it came to significant moment for China and the Philippines, Powell would come out to say something negative. Back in January 5, 2023, China and the Philippines jointly released a statement of mutual friendship and opportunities for cooperation after Philippine President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. finished his first official visit to China after he took office. On the very same day, Powell's Project Myoushu released its first article, hitting a note of dissonance in an otherwise agreeable atmosphere. And things between the two countries got soured since then. On November 17, 2023, Marcos met with China's president during the APEC summit to seek ways to reduce tensions in the South China Sea. 3 days before, Powell promoted a research article that described China's thuggish behavior in the South China Sea. In the following year, on June 21, the Philippines officially announced that it was willing to work with China to resolve dispute. Powell soon urged the Philippine government to be careful about the de-escalate efforts with China. Even though the Philippine Executive Secretary Lucas Bersamin said the latest chaotic face-off was probably a misunderstanding or an accident, Powell asserted that it was not. And during these time points, military exchanges often took place between the Philippines and the United States. On February 1, 2023, the Philippines pivoted to the US and announced 4 military bases open to the US. A month later, media reported that Powell suggested that the Philippines should make modernizing its Coast Guard as priority. After joint drills with the US and more frictions with China, the Philippines announced a significant defense spending in October. 3 brand-new C-130 Super Hercules military transport aircraft were added to the Philippine Defense Force, manufactured by defense giant Lockheed Martin, which has been increasingly active in promoting its military hardware in the Philippines for the past 2 years. In April 2024, Lockheed Martin's Typhoon mid-range missile was deployed to the Philippines during the shoulder-in-shoulder joint drill and has never been withdrawn. A few months later, the defense contractor announced it was expanding its operations in the Philippines, partnering with local industry and establishing a base in Manila. Following that announcement, Lockheed Martin executives paid a visit to Senate President pro tempore Jinggoy Estrada seeking a strategic partnership with the armed forces of the Philippines. In the very next day, the Philippine Military Chief General Romeo Brawner Jr. said to the media that the Philippines wanted to procure the Typhoon missile system. In addition, Lockheed Martin financially supported an international project named Hacking for Defense, or H4D, run by a startup defense consultancy, namely BMNT, whose main clients are the Pentagon and Intelligence Agency. 2 of the company's founders are Joseph Felter and Steve Blank, who are also in charge of the think tank Gordian Knot Center for National Security Innovation that Powell works for. They all used to work at the Department of Defense of the US. Another project run by BMNT is AUKUS Defense Investor, AUKUS DIN, which is in line with the target of the Gordian Knot Center according to Steve Blank, to win competition with China in the South China Sea for maritime superiority under a broader frame great power competition. So it's clear that everyone on the net are sharing common interests in defense business.
If you really look at the overall picture of the country, of the Philippines, it's really being militarized by the United States in every possible way. However, the question is, why are we doing it?
Chester Cabalza, a Philippine think tank scholar, may have answered the question. The Philippines is an emerging market for the defense industry. Our strategic issues with China have caught the attention of defense firms, and the exhibit demonstrates support from like-minded nations, many of whom are our partners and allies. Yup, the South China Sea issue is indeed a lucrative driver for defense business, which may spend billions of dollars of Philippine defense budget.
I would rather reallocate the money for this military assets buying, which is very expensive, on certain budget that has something to do with upgrading our education, social welfare, economic development, reinvesting in the agricultural sector of my country.
In face of such ascending number of hungry Filipino people, these U.S. think tank members are still cultivating the Philippine security concerns to stir South China Sea tumults, which has created opportunities for the U.S. defense contractors. So, Mr. Powell, whose shoes are you in?